Welcome back, America. You know, Tom Cotton is a great senator, a great patriot, combat veteran, and it's always a pleasure to have him on the program. You know, Senator, I want to mention something I just thought about. I'll give our secret away. We used to have a little texting group with you, Senator Cruz, Lindsey Graham, and me. We don't really do it anymore because Lindsey texted more than anybody else. I really miss that guy. Don't you miss that guy on a personal level?
Yes, Mark, I miss Lindsey. We all miss Lindsey. It's hard to imagine the Senate without Lindsey Graham. It's hard to imagine America without Lindsey Graham. He was a great American, a patriot. If you loved America, he loved you. If you fought for freedom, he fought for you. We are very fortunate to have his sister, Darlene Graham, appointed to fill the rest of this year and his term for him, and running in South Carolina as well, to be a great voice for the people of South Carolina and a fighter for the Republican Party and Donald Trump. But we still all miss Lindsey dearly.
Yeah, miss Lindsey dearly, and our little text group doesn't exist anymore. And that's okay. Senator, I want to get to some very important matters here. Number one, what I call the enemy within, this fusion of Marxists and Islamists. This is not a theory. This is reality. We saw it on our college campuses. We've seen it in aspects of the media. Now we see it big time in the Democrat Party and everything that comes with it. This Jew hatred, Israel hatred, America hatred, attacks on our Constitution, attacks on our civil society. You see it in states as different as Maine and Michigan and New Jersey and Texas. What do you make of this?
Yeah, Mark, as you put it, it's a fusion of socialism or communism and Islamism. The Marxist roots of radical Islamic thought go back to the beginning of last century. It's now starting to sprout here in America. We saw it just this week in Michigan when the Democrats nominated Abdul El-Sayed, a true radical, who has palled around with people that said America had 9/11 coming. He wants to abolish ICE. He wants to stop border enforcement. He wants confiscatory levels of taxation for hardworking Americans. But it's not just in Michigan. As you said, it's across the country. Look at what happened in Maine. The Democrats there nominated not one, but two socialists, because the second guy may not have a Nazi tattoo and he may not abuse women, but he has the same radical views. And it's even worse when you look at the Democrats running for the House of Representatives in places like New York City or New Jersey, where they nominated someone who testified on behalf of the blind sheikh, the mastermind of the first World Trade Center bombing, or in Denver, where they nominated someone who thought that 9/11 was inevitable because of American foreign policy. This is not just the mayor of New York City. This is not happening in Europe. They are nominating these people to come to the Congress to make laws that you and I and every Arkansan and every American will have to live under. We have to stop that this November.
We stop it this November. Let me ask you this. When you see these mosques being built at really an incredible number at a time, and there's a lot of belief and a lot of evidence starting to appear that a lot of foreign countries are behind this. When you see radical organizations like CARE, which is sort of a front group for Hamas, or Students for Justice in Palestine, all these sort of terror-linked or terror-supporting or terror front groups, at least they support those agendas, in our own country, is there more that can be done about this? The defunding of them, the removal of individuals who are not citizens, or maybe even denaturalizing some of these imams that are stoking terrorism in these mosques. Is there more that can be done?
Yeah, Mark, one thing you mentioned there I think is an important first step is to expose the foreign funding for a lot of these radical Marxist and Islamist groups. CARE, as you mentioned, has been an unindicted co-conspirator in the past. And I think every American has a right to know that this money may be coming from America's enemies abroad, and not necessarily just Islamist enemies either, maybe coming from other enemies who view it as a way to divide and inflame Americans against each other. And of course, anyone who's come to this country under false pretenses, whether they have a visa or a green card or even citizenship, has violated our immigration laws. And we should not allow sworn enemies of the United States to come to our country with the purpose of trying to foment radical anti-American views.
And when we come back, I want to ask you about that, because the party opposite, the Democrat Party, when you stand there and you look across the aisle, they don't want to fund ICE. They want to defund ICE. And ICE is the agency, ICE is the organization that has to track down these people and deport them. So I want the American people to understand how radical the Democrat Party is and how they are embracing these movements. There may be a few brave members who are not, but the party as a general matter is.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.